Hello, this is Jaymie White with Global Diversity News, and with me, my co-podcaster, Ray Hayes.
All right, what's going on, everybody?
So today we're actually in Chicago.
That's how you hear us a little better, too.
Especially you. I mean, the conversations have been pretty good. I think the quality's been okay,
Yeah, but this one probably sounded a little bit more clear, so.
That's true.
I'm kind of excited about this one.
Yeah. That's true. But, so bringing you, once again, another podcast. So today, we want to discuss with you guys the demographic shift of America. Now, for our dedicated readers, which we appreciate you all, obviously head over to globaldiversitynews.com to find out more information about what we're going to talk about, as well as other cool content involving diversity and small business. But in terms of the demographic shift, wrote an article a couple of days ago about, or highlighting, the difference between the year 2000 and 2014 and just the ethnicity breakdown of people where people were located in America in 2000, and then how they moved about in 2014. So that's essentially what we're going to talk about today. Now, I guess I'll go ahead and I'll start it off. Just give a brief summary of kind of what we're dealing with here, and then Ray, you can hop in and make comments accordingly.
Okay.
So what you really need to know is there's just 4 points here. The first point is they broke it down by where people of diverse backgrounds, essentially where they move the most, which the biggest areas of diversity, I guess, movement was in the Midwest and East. So those were areas that had very little diversity, but then had a great growth. So again, that's the Midwest and East Coast. The second area were areas where there was already a lot of diversity, but then they also saw a pretty big growth as well. And those were primarily in the South and West. Now, it also has a pretty interesting stat here that says that more than 190 million people, or 60% of the country, actually live in these areas in the southern and western regions. So pretty interesting in terms of that type of movement going on in the past, or in those 15 years between 2000 and 2014. The third point we're taking a look at is what is this? Just essentially like clusters of people, or where people live, where these points had high concentration of diversity in 2000 and continued to increase its diversity numbers in 2014 as well. So what notable clusters are like a Boston, Seattle, so just parts throughout America. And with these more, I guess, intricate parts, that's about 60 million, or 20% of the American population. And then the last piece is just people or parts of America that just essentially had no change at all. And these are really in like the middle America parts.
Like South Dakota and stuff like that.
Yeah, Montana, Idaho. Also parts of like West Virginia, Kentucky. And we're not just talking about white populations, but also Hispanic populations as well, in terms of like Texas, areas around the Texas-Mexico border. Mm-hmm. So just parts like that. So these are just kind of where we're at in terms of the map, and just give you a general outlook. Of course, again, go to globaldiversitynews.com to check out the article to see a visual representation of the map. But excuse me, that's kind of where we want to start. So, Ray, just continue on this line. Just give us your thoughts on this demographic breakdown movement.
It's kind of interesting. It's similar to like how people are moving to the South and Western states for the warmth. So it's somewhat of the similar
climate,
things. Yeah, it's climate. I mean, you don't want to be in the cold in the East, and with the map showing the diversity, people are moving to the South and West. Like I said, it's similar to where people are doing just to find new jobs. There are more jobs coming to the South. In Texas, is with the I believe it was Austin, Texas, being one of the top startup companies. So
Exactly.
you have those more resources in the South, and people of all walks of life are noticing it. So they're moving to these states to get better opportunities, and also try to take advantage of some of these resources that different states are offering them, including the climate of weather as well. And I mean, it's definitely an advantage if you live in the South or West Coast, because you have multiple opportunities. I mean, you have multiple startups. I mean, startups or small businesses have employees moving to the states who can bring different talents you may be seeking. So this is a great opportunity for you to go about trying to look out for these people. I mean, not saying like look out for them, like do them a favor.
Right.
I'm saying searching for those talents that they're bringing to your state now. As you see, like if you want to increase your diversity numbers for your organization as well, for your firm.
So I have a quick comment and I guess question on that piece, which would be, so obviously like you said, people are moving down south and out west because of warmer climate. I also feel that, just to piggyback off of that, technology has a big reason.
Oh yeah,
they're
definitely in
doing
the
it.
West. Yeah, definitely
so
in the
now,
West.
because in past times you had to live in like a New York, if you will, or on the East Coast piece to do financial work.
Right.
But now because of technology,
you don't have to.
it becomes a lot easier.
Because it pop. I mean, like you said. I mean, there are companies popping up out of the woodworks, and that's all throughout the U.S.
Right.
And like you said, you don't have to just stay in New York to find a job with a top technological organization.
Or finance or whatever.
Finance, business, art. They're centered all throughout the U.S. And with Silicon Valley being in the western part of the U.S.,
That definitely expanded everything on the west.
it's in Texas. That's
Austin.
his own country.
Well, Texas was Austin, definitely.
Austin and Dallas. I mean, they're all expanding, and with that expansion comes new startups and small businesses,
True.
tech organizations, and so forth.
So, why do you think, because we're both from the Midwest, you being from Chicago and I'm from Detroit, I just recently wrote an article about how 9 of the 10 top cities for small businesses in terms of small business growth rates are in Texas and Florida, so they're all in the South. Why is, we also went to college in Atlanta, which was a thriving city.
Right.
Why are these southern cities and western cities, quote unquote, getting things right when it comes to small business growth that Midwest cities and to a certain extent East Coast cities just aren't figuring out yet?
I would say one reason being is because the liberal ideas on in the West. I mean, the different
What about the
perspectives.
South?
The South. No, that's what I'm gonna get to the South.
Okay.
I'm saying in the West, I say the liberal ideas, and it's just different out there.
Yeah, Northwest.
Completely different.
West. I can agree with that.
And I would say the South is because of it's a ton of space, untapped resources in the South, and like Austin, and particularly in Texas, there's a lot of untapped resources.
Is it untapped though?
Huh?
Is it untapped?
Yeah, it's definitely untapped because
so?
a lot of people have not took notice to it. It's like, okay, it's a desert land for certain organizations, certain peoples. I don't want to go there because there's nothing there. So let me stick to I know there's going to be something in New York. I know there's business in Chicago. I know there's business in Baltimore, stuff like that. Because I know that. So now maybe millennials and some baby boomers and so forth are seeing that you don't have to stick to one place to do your business. I mean, that old fashioned life is everything in New York. No, I mean it can, like you said.
It's funny you say. So you touched on a couple of things there, but the 2 points that I really found is untapped market and lifestyle.
Okay.
So the first piece, when it comes to untapped market, I'm in Arizona, and they used to say about how like 10, 15 years ago in Phoenix, it was essentially a desert, dirt roads, just wide open space, untapped. But now you're seeing a lot of people move from the Great Migration, when there were a lot of job opportunities, in Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, because of that automotive industry. Everybody moved up north. But now, with technological advances, people are going to these untapped markets because it's low cost to set up. Not high not high in terms of cost of living, just period. To set up shop there and to live there.
Right.
You can also expand because there's more opportunities to expand quicker and easier in these Phoenix areas. In these, Austin's kind of growing now, but at a time, 20 years ago, it wasn't as big as it is now. So definitely opportunities. And then the second piece is like you said, lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now, I've had time to live in New York, and the lifestyle is really aggressive, hustle and bustle, and I mean, it feels like, seconds go by fast.
Yeah.
So people want to relax more, and people want time with their families and time to enjoy the weather.
Exactly.
For example, just their lives. And like when you go down south, it's more of that slow.
It's not
family.
It's not stressful.
Yeah.
It's not as stressful.
Enjoy the sun, lay back.
Right.
Do your 9 to 5, then come back home and really enjoy yourself. So
in the real estate markets and like Phoenix and stuff like that.
Yep.
They're booming now because people have become to start to build in these areas as well too. It's not just okay, like you said, it was a desert land.
Oh yeah.
Not anymore. You have infrastructure changing. I mean, for instance, in Chicago, putting in water mains throughout the city, all the way by the lake and just throughout the city. That's because they're planning to build new buildings in those areas. So with the change of the infrastructure, the new ideas that President Obama has put in place throughout his presidency, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity out there, and people have begun to take advantage of it. And like you said, Jaymie, I mean, you're tired of the stressful environment. I mean, you want to go where you can relax. I mean, you can enjoy your time with your family and the weather. Everybody loves the weather.
Well,
So that's why you see the big push. Like, okay, I'm tired of the cold. I'm tired of the snow.
It's snowing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's gloomy. I mean, honestly, it look depressing. I mean, if I go to Orlando, Florida, it's like
it's probably great right now.
It's beautiful. I mean, so I think people have. I mean, a lot of millennials.
Oh yeah.
People our age. I mean, millennials. I mean, talking about 20s to 30s.
Yep.
Are seeing that. They're noticing that. Hey, I don't want to live like my parents did. I don't want to be as stressed out as my mom and dad was. Let me take a chill off things. I'm gonna get my job done. I'm gonna enjoy life.
Right.
But let me go somewhere where I can work hard but play hard.
Okay. So here's the final question. Now, although it said that the biggest increases were in the Midwest, they're still pretty lagging when you compare them to like the South and West Coast, obviously.
Correct.
But what we've established that people want when it comes to like lifestyle and untapped markets, it seems that this is kind of where people want. So what can for example, like a Chicago do to separate itself out versus like a Austin or a Dallas or a Houston? Because I have some ideas from Detroit, but let me get your take on Chicago first.
Like Chicago,
Yep.
Tax incentives. I mean, that can entice people to come to the city. Also, like I said, Chicago with Rahm Emanuel, he wants to make Chicago bright.
Great again.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not gonna say again, but he wants to make Chicago great. So I believe he spoke about it. I think it was last year sometime. He wanted to light the city up like a New York or a Paris. Beautiful lights. I mean, Chicago's downtown is beautiful, but it's not as lit up as a California or as a New York. It's kind of gloomy. So you can entice them through the Chicago Ideas Week. You bring about an idea, we'll fund that idea, and we'll give you an opportunity to make that idea actual reality. So you do programs such as that. Like I said, tax incentives with the Chicago's Ideas Week. I mean, if they have a great idea and they can help Rahm Emanuel make this city light up, so to say, then fund them. Okay. But offering them, you have to be creative. I mean, you can't just say, we're Chicago, people are going to move here or people are going to stay here. No, those days are gone, over and done with. You have to be creative in how you
cities are evolving.
Yeah, exactly, they're evolving. So hey, come to Chicago. We're offering this. We have a new infrastructure plan. Where if you can assist, if you have a new idea to go about helping with our new infrastructure plan, then come in. We'll give you a tax break, or we'll fund your idea and we'll make it boom. I mean, in our city.
Okay.
But you can't think about that old mindset. You gotta have a creative mindset. You can't just be stagnant in your ideas, and that's how I believe you'll get more people to come. And then also show the bright side of the city, and make people understand that. I mean, what do you hear about Chicago?
Shootings.
That's not the entire Chicago.
Right.
That's not Chicago. I understand there's violence everywhere you go.
Oh yeah, there is.
I mean, everywhere you go. But people don't understand that. Everything you see in the news about Chicago is the violence. Change that narrative. Show.
It's hard. That's coming from a city like Detroit.
It definitely is hard. It's hard as ever, but it can be done because me, for example, yeah, I understand there's shootings going on, but I'm not a part of that lifestyle. So that lifestyle, it could affect anybody because a gun doesn't play favorites.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are plenty of opportunities in Chicago for you to have fun around now. I mean,
safe fun.
Yeah, safe fun. You don't have to. I don't wake up when I wake up in the morning. Oh man, I gotta go outside. I'm gonna get shot.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
I feel you.
I mean, that's a horrible mindset to think of. But you have to push that narrative and show why this city is so great.
Yeah.
And if you do not do that, then
you won't be able to. Yeah, but. Yeah, we gotta actually wrap this.
Yeah,
up
go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no. It's really good. Obviously, we're gonna have to come back on and like talk about things such as like we were talking about.
Yeah, okay.
How to change that narrative.
Right.
And how, even police reform in terms of how do we take that turn. But we'll get into that maybe in the future. But I did want to say this about Detroit in terms of, since we're talking about cities, and I think it's fair to say that Detroit and Chicago are like the two biggest cities in the Midwest.
Yeah.
No disrespect to anybody else.
Right.
So for Detroit, I love what they're doing in terms of real estate and building new properties in downtown Detroit. I think that's a great focus for right now. I do think they need to connect downtown and Midtown, which is what it seems like they're trying to do. But also, I think they need to take a page out of Austin's book. What Austin did was they connected their music scene with the tech scene, and they helped that. That's where South by Southwest was created. And then they just expanded that into one of the largest tech festivals in the world.
I didn't know that.
Yep. So Detroit, not a lot of people know this, but techno was created in Detroit. So we always have a huge festival in downtown Detroit called the Tech Fest. And I truly believe that if you can, techno, so I really believe that if we could do something very similar to Austin, maybe not necessarily with tech specifically, but something in that realm. Maybe the next Techno Fest, we just pass out a bunch of VR sets or something like that, or just something creative to where we can be the next or on the cutting edge of technology, because technology is what it is.
Right.
It's the future of everything.
Right.
So just being there and then using that to expand opportunities for small businesses throughout the city, I think that would be great.
I was gonna say, even offering like the different technological organizations or expos to come to Detroit.
Yep, and that's how Austin essentially did it. They just started off as a festival, and then they just expanded to the point that now the White House is copying their festival. I think Detroit, with their expanding of downtown and building it up, like we're talking about creative ideas.
Right.
If you want people to move back to the Midwest, and you're competing against these great cities with these great weather, great climate, and untapped markets, you got to offer them something new, something different they can only get in these cities. And again, being creative, and those are a couple of ways to do that. So, but yeah, that's just our thoughts, just really quick. Let us know what you think. As always, follow, subscribe, like the video, and comment as well. Thanks for listening. I'm Jaymie White, with Ray Hayes.
Thank you all. Y'all have a good one.
This is Global Diversity News, and take care.